Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and I'm a trained remote viewer. I also am skilled in interspecies communication, which is beyond communicating with your pet. It's fascinating how people hear that descriptive of me and never think beyond their pet. And that is one of the problems on the planet. Our lens has been so limited that what's going to happen next in terms of human history is going to be a shocker. So today's an interesting day. The chat title that I chose was Your Root. There is an energy center that is at the base of the trunk of your spine that is called the root chakra. Chakra is an energy center. It's like a spinning wheel. Basically, what it is a tying up of your causal body. But we're going to talk about that point, the root. What is the root about? It How well you are rooted determines how well you can land your projects, how well you can achieve the level of prosperity on the physical dimension, how defended you are energetically. The root, when you are not rooted, in psychology, is called being disassociated, which means your bodies are not associated with each other. One is over here, the other one's over there, and the other one is skipping town because you're too afraid. So, disassociation is you are not in alignment with parts of yourself. And remember that the statement, may the force be with you, has to do with giving you strength to deal with whatever you have to deal with. And it's extra strength. And that may the force be with you. That's the astral body, your astral spirit body, and it makes you strong. Disassociation is when that spirit body is not with you. How important is this? It's in the Lord's Prayer, in the original version in Aramaic, not the translations. Translations are a huge issue, and you have to wonder if there's a conspiracy going on there with the translations, because what it says in the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic originally, it doesn't say deliver us from evil. It says help us to be in the present, which is what Edgar Tolle, that's all he talks about. And I'm glad that's all he talks about. Basically, you're going to be protected from everything, from disasters, from spirits, from everything, if you are rooted, if your consciousness is in your root chakra. So we had an interesting happening today. I got an email, which a lot of people get. This is not exclusive information, of the latest crop circle. What is a crop circle? Crop circles are usually in England, and from night to the morning, all of a sudden there's this incredibly large and inter, intricate, and very perfectly formed symbols in the crops, and they're called crop circles. So we're going to go back to the swastika now, but I didn't take us there. The crop circle did. This is the crop circle. Let me see if I can get myself on camera together with it. Hold on. No. Hide. Let me go here and then here. Nope. Okay. This is a swastika, but instead of 4 arms, it's got 6, but it's the same thing. It is spinning in the direction. Why won't it let me? Give me a second. Okay. Let me try it again. Nope. It's not going to let me do it. It is spinning in the direction of the clock, clockwise. That is the direction that controls the top of the chakra in the top of your head. But we're talking about rooting, which is in the bottom. They work together. If you get one to operate properly and spin in the correct direction, the opposite, which in this case from the top of the head, the root is going to be spinning in the correct direction also. They work together. So this appeared the 29th. Oh, today's the 29th. Okay, it appeared today. Obviously, unless you are really determined not to widen your lens and you want to be stuck and left in the back of the bus, obviously, this is a symbol of the swastika, has to do with the crown chakra, which has to do with connection to God and faith. Now, what have I said about market confidence? I think all of this chat today is going to be all about you remaining prosperous in the midst of chaos. So, what does this have to do with prosperity? At least in the United States, and we are the leaders at this point. What we're going to be in the future, who knows? But right now, if anything happens to us economically, we take the whole world with us. Okay, so what does faith, crown chakra, which works in synchronistic, it's synchronized with your routine, which has to do with prosperity on the physical dimension. My head is going, it's slipping. What does that have to do with prosperity? In the United States, it is said that when there's market confidence, we are prosperous. What is market confidence? It's faith. So this is the crop circle that came up today for planet Earth. It's in England, but it's for planet Earth. It's drawing us to have faith, to have our energy center in the top of the head spin in the correct direction, at which time we will have confidence, we will have faith, and in terms of prosperity, we will be in a good place. I don't think it's a coincidence that this is the crop circle that has come up now. There have been designs through the centuries. Let me see if I put up another one from before. It's not the same one. There, it's less intricate. This one is much more. Okay, I don't have time, and I'm not that good in symbolism. So let's go back to talking about rooting, which if your root is in a good place, it's in the right color, it's spinning in the right direction, which is why the swastikas are so important, because there's two of them. One that spins in the direction of the root chakra, and the other one spins in the direction of the crown chakra. So this symbol is from the crown chakra. So let's go back to rooting. The root chakra in between your legs, the ideal color is red. And that is the reason why in Feng Shui, they suggest a red door. Because if you put the Bagua map, which I've talked about before, and I need to get a copy of it to put up on the screen. If you put that map on top of your home, the root chakra will correspond to your front door. Okay, so give me a second. Sebastián, eso se va a arreglar. We have an event at 8, and there appears to be an issue with the event, which I hope that my office is taking care of. Is going to take care of it. So keeping the root chakra in order is critical. And I think today, and I'm talking today is the 29th of August. Let me pull out my pens and let me sketch the map of the United States today. And let's see what it says, because I suspect there's something going on that maybe we need to know about. Okay, so here's the map. Okay. Okay, what I get is there's a massive depression in the Northeast to the Carolinas. And the massive depression has to do with money. And somebody, remember these words, because I'm not going to take the time to write them down. Somebody pulled the plug on something really big. What did they pull the plug on? Something that has to do with financial stability. They pulled the plug, they pulled it on purpose. They want us teetering. They want us afraid. And that takes us back to your root. Fear is mainly generated in the root chakra or congested in the root chakra. And then when you're afraid, you are less safe, less prosperous, less protected. Somebody pulled the plug. I'm going to, and I don't know what the plug is. And if I knew, I probably shouldn't say it anyway. So it's good that I don't know it. Let's continue. We have a lot of creativity in South Florida. Of course, that's where Trump is. And I'm assuming it's from that. We have vile energy in California. Vile. Now, what does that mean? I think they're very angry over there in California. Okay? We have a lot of creativity, and I need a green pen, which is nice, which is the color of money, in Texas. I never know what I'm going to sketch because I don't know what it is that is going on until I sketch it, or maybe a week later, whatever. So somebody pulled the plug, and there's going to be a gushing of issues starting tomorrow, but most people aren't going to find out about it until Thursday of next week, which will be, let me look up the calendar so that we can get this documented. So how do I go from August? Oh, here, you just need it. Next Thursday is the 5th. So until the 5th, on the 5th is when people will become aware that something has happened. Somebody pulled a plug having to do with money. So these two places doesn't mean that they're safe because we work together, but it doesn't help that one part of the country is massively depressed and the other part of the country is massively angry. So we need to do some purifications of that. But meanwhile, we're talking about you. Is there anything else interesting here? No. I mean, there's probably a lot more things going on, but not having to do with whatever it is that we're dealing with today, which has to do with you being prosperous in the midst of chaos. Until I don't know how many years ago, I really should have had a calendar throughout the last 10 years and put down every time I give a prediction, because most of them have come true. Future's elastic and plastic. So I could say something and the prophets could say something and it not happen. And in many times it's good. It's good. So within the last 10 years, planet Earth went from creating a collective reality to creating individual realities, which means you can be prosperous in the midst of chaos. It doesn't matter what happens to the rest of the country and what happens to the rest of the world. Now, here's the trick. Your mind creates reality. Gina, I have no idea what pulling the plug means other than what it is that I said. And I suspect that if I knew what it was, I shouldn't be saying it anyway. But I don't know. So, and there I went ahead and I lost my train of thought. I apologize. You can create wonderful prosperity even if the whole country goes down, because we have been granted the ability to create, not collectively, but individually. What does that mean? I just am going to remind you again that we're leaving a cycle, a historic cycle for the planet, not for the country, for the planet. We're leaving that. We're leaving the paradigm, which is collapsing, that's based on hierarchy, pyramid, important guy at the top, a few more underneath, and then the masses at the bottom supporting everything at the top. That's collapsing. And you can see it. You know, somebody important says something and the kids and the people go, so? What do you mean, so? An authority figure just said that. So? That was not the case before. That's collapsing. And this country and the world has been, power has been based on hierarchy. The guy at the top, he's so powerful. It's not. And you know when that started to change? When we started to have problems in the Mideast and the United States had all these airplanes, all these bomber planes, all these bombs, nuclear weapons, some guy in the Mideast would strap a bomb on his back and be willing to sacrifice his life, and he could stop everything. One guy with a bomb on his back, and you got a whole country underneath us. Fall of hierarchy. One guy willing to die for what he believed in. I'm not saying that he should have. What I'm saying is, what a contrast. That's an example. And that's kind of when it started in a big way, in my opinion. So we're going into another. That's what these chats are all about. That's what my life is all about, trying to get you information about what we're leaving, what you need to let go of, and what's coming up so that you can hook on to, if you want, to the stuff that's coming up and to find out about the new paradigm and figure out how to have it work for you, or what adjustments you need to make for you to be compatible with what's now and into the future. Are you community oriented? Are you in love with what you do for a living? What percentage of, do you know what I was going to say? What percentage of people do you think are in love with what they do for a living? Well, statistically, and this was years ago, I think it was like 80% of employees were disengaged, that's the elegant word, from their jobs. They didn't love their jobs. Now, how the hell do you, I'm sorry for the bad word, but how the hell do you think we're going to continue to create prosperity with 80% of the workforce disengaged? We're not going to, and we're not. What does that mean? That means that the poster boy for the new order in business, which is Elon Musk, you need to pay attention to this man. Okay, so you don't like him. Okay, what do I care whether you like him or not? Is he prosperous? Yes. Is he doing what he loves? Yes. Is what what he's doing is very future oriented? Yeah, but that's not part of the. You have to love what you're doing. Do you love what you're doing? You don't. Then you need to scramble, but you don't have to scramble that much. You need to do a mantra. Okay? And the mantra is this, and that's what we're going to do now. And I'm going to stop talking now. I'm just going to review the map again. Somebody pulled a plug having to do with money in this country today. The Northeast is all massively depressed. We've not sketched this before. The West Coast is, the word is vile. Anger, anger, anger. When you have this much fire element, which is what I always sketch on the West Coast, you turn into ugly people. You're ugly. Because that's what fire does to you. And the places that look great is Florida, lots of creativity. And this is associated with Trump and that whole, and then you have Texas, where you have the poster boy for the new paradigm for business. You can be aligned with your mission and make a ton of money. He's showing this. He's not saying it. I'm the one who's saying it. He's never said that. He's just saying, I need to do this, and I'm doing it for humanity. I need to do this. And he loves what he does. So, what other spiritual person have you met that is just working for humanity and first of all, how prosperous are they? They're based on the old paradigm. You're supposed to be poor. If not, maybe you're not so spiritual. Not true. So anyway, this is the map. By the 5th, the whole country is going to find out that the plug got pulled on something. Not sure I should say this, but I think I'm going to say it. Water is emotions. Today I went to one of the banks that I bank in. It was closed. And I went, oh my God, what happened? I need to look at the news. No, I didn't need to look at the news. It was closed because they had a flood. Water is emotions. When your home has a flood, when your roof leaks, it's an excess of emotions. It's not surprising to me, especially that bank. It's not surprising to me that they would have an excess of emotion. So it's closed. You have to go to another branch. It's closed. And there was a flood. It wasn't because I said, this is just, they're not telling us. You look in the window and the whole place is obviously something happened to the floor in the place. Okay, then? So we are going to do the mantra for mission. And these are the words. They say that when emotions are high, intelligence is low. That is not true. That is not true. What they said in the United States for decades was, leave your emotions at the door when you come to work. And that is why we have 80% disengaged employees, because we are all very stressed by the paradigm shift, but you're not allowed to deal with it at work. Well, you can't really do that to human beings, because your emotions are your spirit. When they say, may the force be with you, it's your spirit. And so what they're telling you is, leave your spirit at the door when you come to work. Doesn't work. Apparently it did work for a while, or for a long time, but it's not working from here forward. So this is the mantra. Let me see if I have the video. I'm not going to put the video on because it has something in it that triggers too many people. It has something in it having to do with cannabis. Cannabis was turned into a product of the devil with disinformation, because it's so cheap and it's so good for your health. It reduces fire, and the problem with the planet is excess fire. So 50 years ago, they started to trash cannabis. Meanwhile, in Ayurveda, which is 5,000 years old, cannabis is considered a sacred herb. And in Chinese medicine, they recommend it daily, particularly for couples. It reduces fire, it reduces fighting. So here's the mantra. Let me write it a second. Here we go. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have said everything that I've said. And so, well, you know what? Everything I said is true. It worries me that people are going to run out and say everything is going to go into a system of collapse. What I'm saying is, it doesn't really matter what happens to everybody else. You can be okay, but you can't just sit there. And by the way, you can't fill your mind with images of disasters, with conversations that are all about that. You need to vitalize your intention to be prosperous in the midst of chaos. But first, we're going to do this mantra, which is, please God, help us with our intention to align with our miraculously prosperous. Oh dear, I left the last word out. Okay, we're going to put it up there. Miraculously prosperous mission. I'll write it up again. But meanwhile, you can start doing the mantra. And I'm going to put the music that is supportive of your root, which is in between your legs. What are the symptoms that your root is really bad? Hemorrhoids. Problem with your funny bone. Excess amount of fear. Prosperity, money issues, prosperity issues, or issues with, are you safe? Is the police going to show up? Is somebody going to beat you up? All of those are indicators that your root needs help, and you can get it the help. So this is the music, the sensory therapy mantra music that Mateo Cuaron composed for us that supports your root. So we're going to do 10 minutes. Did 10 minutes. It felt good. See how my voice changed? Relaxes you. And then you're it's easier to vitalize your intentions rather than being distracted by whatever it is that had you nervous. So I decided to do a sketch of our collective. Uh, too much red, and it was really reaching up. This is the planet. And yes, I forget the words global warming. There's too much fire on the planet. And the land, the planet, there's too much fire. The lava in the center of the planet, that ball of lava used to have an envelope, and that envelope is broken, and that lava is looking to come up in addition to all the solar flares and everything else that's going on, all the radiation that comes from all the electronics, whatever. This is higher than I've ever seen it. We do have the triple protection of the pyramids, the triangles. Third eye, not, it should be one, it's two. And actually, I shouldn't have filled it in. It should be, what I was sketching was eyes that were open in shock. I'm not sure what's going on here. This is like a portal, and this is like holes, or like, I don't know what that is. Then we have the spaceship. The door is open, and that's a ladder. They don't need a ladder to come down. That ladder would appear to be us. And then I'm going to go back, and we're going to finish this chat with the photograph of the crop circle that appeared today in England, which is a swastika, but very decorated. I mean, obviously, the Nazis weren't going to have flowers on their swastikas. Swastika is a symbol that's over 6,000 years old. And it has to do with the chakras, which are called spinning wheels. The swastika is pushing energy to move in a particular direction. This particular swastika is pushing in the direction of crown, connection to God, spirituality, and faith. And faith is market confidence. This is what we need. So this is supporting something. This, which was created in crops. This is not a sketch. It's not a graphic that somebody did in their studio. It's a crop circle. Look them up. This is a good sign. It's also something for us to follow to work on our faith. And in terms of our Mantrista movement, the latest production was the one for Venezuela, because we realized that it was an awful lot of years of not enough electricity, not internet, not enough food, and they had kind of lost faith. So I asked Mateo to please compose some music that would have the frequencies that support open heart and faith. So that one that was done for Venezuela is the one that you might want to use for keeping your crown chakra spinning in the correct direction. And if you print up this crop circle, just look it up on the internet, the latest crop circle, you print it up and put it someplace, your mind will entrain to this symbol. Symbols are very important because the mind entrains to them. So you want that. So we may or may not be back tomorrow, because we're going to try to take a break because I'm really, really tired. But if there's a lot of interesting things happening, positive or negative, I will be here. And if there's anything interesting happening over the long weekend, I will be here also. But if I don't see you until Tuesday, then I hope you have a great holiday weekend, and that you rest, that you distract yourself from things that are negative and that drain you, that you focus your intentions on being prosperous, regardless of what everybody else is doing or what it is that happens. So I hope you enjoy yourself. Contact with nature is very important. And the element of the root chakra is earth, trees, mountains, stones, crystals. Okay. Thank you for joining me. And for those of you that are going to the event now in Spanish at 8 that has to do with prosperity in the midst of chaos, Yes, there's an issue, but give me a second because I think it got resolved. It's getting resolved at this as we speak. Thank you.